It's very nice to be here. My name's Ben. I normally like to get my set started by getting everyone to do Mexican Wave. That's right, it's happening. So starting in the Royal Box over here, and we're going to go all the way over there. If you want a drink, don't just go like that, just get stuck at the back. So after 3, this is genuinely happening, sir. Yeah, that body language does not fill me with confidence, but it's okay. So after 3, 3, 2, 1... We're having fun. Good. I'm going to be honest with you guys. Traditionally, people whoop and cheer when they do Mexican Wave. You've just... No, it's too late now. You did that in silence. That is one of the fucking spookiest things I have ever seen. That's harrowing. Just all of you saluting in the dark. It's not a good look, Brighton. Heil, I suppose, in the bunker. Very nice to be here. That was, I'm honest, that's changed the core temperature of my body. Well, hey, it's nice to be here, I suppose. My name is Ben. I can be honest with you guys, I don't know how this is going to go. I've not really talked to many people recently, and I've sort of forgotten how to. I work at a bookshop at the moment, and the other day a customer came in, and they finished a transaction, and they said thank you, and I just went... and instead of saying goodbye, I said, no choice. I said the words, no choice. So I have no fucking clue what's coming out of my head. If you like, these are going to be jokes. If you like them, laugh at them. If you don't, just let them wash over you like Enya. It's lounge jazz if you're not enjoying it, all right? So let's get to know you, and that be there. Yeah, wonderful. That's really going to put me off. That's flies sitting on the turd of my set. Okay, great. My name is Ben. My name's Ben Pope. Ben is short for Benedict. So my full name is Benedict Pope, which is, yeah, thank you, not a joke. That is my actual human name. Benedict, the name of a villain in a period drama, and Pope, the name of a villain now. Yeah, oh, okay, right, the Vatican's in, lovely. Easy. It's very nice to be here. It's lovely to be here in Brighton. I always forget every time I come to Brighton how posh Brighton is. Today I passed a residential house and I heard someone practicing the harp. That's when you know you're in the catchment area for heaven. I couldn't believe it. I was like, this is madness. But as I said, I'm Ben. I'm white. Very white. When I dance, it looks like dressage. I want to get to know you guys a little bit. What's the age range of the room? Is anyone here like 25 or younger? Give me a woo. All right, okay, yeah, embryos at the front, lovely. Thank you guys for coming. Thank you for clawing away out of whichever ketamine-filled bum bag it is that you guys live in. That's a treat to see you here, concentrating for once. That's wonderful. And then who's on the other end of the spectrum? Who's like 45, 50 older? Give me a woo. Oh, it's a fossil-heavy crowd. All right. There it is, the Jurassic Coast right in the middle there. Hi, guys. My goodness, thank you for coming. I'll just say, well done for making it a cold winter, then a hot summer. What are we going to do? No, thank you for coming. Spend your evening with us, one of you, a few left. And and then who's in the middle? Who's like 25 to 40? Give me a woo. All right, okay, yeah, nice. Yeah, my people. Yes, the failures. Hi, yeah. Old enough to know the dream is over. Not old enough to quit. It's a heady mixture, isn't it? But we've all got stuff, you know. We're all doing different stuff, different ages. We've all got things to worry about. We're all, you know, post-womb, pre-coffin. We've all got. Do you know what I mean? We've got stuff to worry about. Like, you know, the little guys, the young guys. You're worried. You're so worried about climate change. You know what's gonna happen? You know, and the old guys, they're worried about death. And if you're in the middle, our printers are always breaking. Like, do you know what I mean? I think it's all about equal overall. I turned 30 recently. That's something that's happened. Thank you. And just the room collectively going, we fucking don't care. Thank you. No, that's fine. No, it's fine. There's you know, turning 30, not everyone thinks it's a big hump. Everything's going to change. It's really not. It's not a big deal. I don't worry about it too much. But things have changed, I would say. You know, particularly in the last few years. You know, I went into the pandemic in my mid-20s, and I came out 30. I don't like that. I went in wanting a girlfriend. I've come out wanting an allotment. So, I mean, that's a very different vibe, isn't it? This is genuinely true. In the last few years, I became a dad. So thank you very much, thank you. Not really, just sort of spiritually. I just feel like one. Do you know what I mean? Just tired all the time. I wear fleeces and say, hiya, like that sort of thing. Do you know what I mean? You pass me in a narrow corridor, I'll go, ooh. That sort of thing. I make my own muesli now. The other day I had a dream, and the dream was top to bottom. I went to Curry's. That was the dream. That was the whole dream. So things have changed, but it's not all bad. You know, there's good bits, there's bad bits. You know, my taste has changed. You know, when I was a young little guy, you know, I was different. Now I have embraced tapas. That's a big one, you know, because when you're younger, you go to a tapas restaurant, you see a table full of tapases, tapai, and you see those and you're like, who has laid this table for a cat? Like, what are all this fucking starters forever? That's not a meal, that's a curse. This is horrible. Fucking sauces everywhere, as if Thumbelina's leaving do. What is all of this? Fucking ridiculous. And they're like, oh, it's, you know, it's anti-pasty. And you're like, where's the pasty? that's what I'm after. This is foreplay. Where's the sex, you know? Foreplay for hours and hours and hours. And then you get to 30 and you realize, that's pretty good. That's what we're after, really, isn't it? Tapas, the fingering of fine dining. The eating out of eating out. Okay. Some of you loving that, some of you absolutely hating it, and that is fine. Don't worry, the back, it's going to be okay. No, it's fine. You know, stuff does change. I don't mind it so much. You know, I don't mind. When I was younger, I did not know how to look after myself in any way. Did not know how any machines worked. I didn't fix anything ever. You know, I used to have a washing machine, and I never understood the hieroglyphs around the dial. So I would just spin it like a croupier. Just like, put it all on wool. Ah! You know, putting change in the drawers. No idea how it worked. We had a dishwasher, and the dishwasher broke because it kept asking for salt, and I didn't believe it. I don't know about salt in my dishwasher. I want my place to be clean, not delicious. Does that resonate with anybody? I don't know. That was madness, you know? We were awful. We did not pay, like, we wouldn't pay attention to the sell-by dates on any food, you know? We were just dreadful. Like, people would be like, this cream is off, and we'd be like, no, it's vintage. Which is not okay. We found some ham in our fridge once at a house party that was 3 months out of date. Yes, I know. Yes, thank you, Panto crowd. Thank you. That was. Oh, wow. Yeah, real. And we took it out, and someone was flapping it about, and they were like, "This is disgusting. This has to change." And someone else in the flat genuinely said, "Oh, don't worry about it, man. Time's a construct." So we ate the ham. Yeah, we all had horrible dreams. And then instead of throwing the ham away, we just started calling the ham Nightmare Ham. Our own private meaty ayahuasca. You have to try things out, don't you, I think, you know? No, we were not well behaved. I still can't fix stuff now. Like, you know, like the other day my keyboard broke on my laptop. I have a laptop, not to brag. And basically the keyboard broke, and not like the whole keyboard, just the I key came off, just snapped right off. And I don't know if anyone here knows what's underneath, like the keyboard, like underneath on each button, there's like a little plastic contact nipple. Okay, so every time now I have to press the letter I have to reach inside my keyboard and massage the teat of the computer, just milking it for vowels. Just, oh, please, please. And it feels sexual, you know? It's like C-3PO's little clitoris. Because every time you press it, the screen goes, I. So it's very like, do you know what I mean? You know, and you can't stop using the letter I. The letter I is in so many English words, including the word I. You can't stop using I. You can't use me instead. You sound like the fucking Cookie Monster. Writing emails being like, me hope you are well. It's not acceptable, is it? Me, I'm sorry for your loss. Sometimes it doesn't translate. I don't know. But no, I'm trying to get better. I'm trying to behave myself more. You know, you get to a certain age, your body starts betraying you a little bit. You know, I made some promises to myself. I've stopped lying to my doctor. That's a big one. We had some NHS people in, didn't we? Where were the NHS folk? Very quiet now. Oh, you, the man I made fun of at the front. Okay, great, lovely. Oh, what's your name, bud? Remind me. Jerry, lovely. What genre of doctorship are you again?
I'm not a doctor.
You're not a doctor? Oh, okay. What are you then?
I'm a nurse in the community.
You're a nurse in the community. Don't downplay that, man. I thought you were going to say, I just work in admin. That's not admin at all. That's admin. That's lovely. Well, I don't know. Do you, when you go to the doctor, do you still lie to the doctor?
Yeah, sometimes.
Sometimes. That's from an official. You heard that? That's real. You can do it. I told you. Is it when they ask how much you drink? Is that the? That's definitely one of them. Because it's awful, isn't it? They're like, how much do you drink? And you have to stand there being like, I don't even eat. Like, you know. It's tough, you know. It's the same with the dentist. The dentist is horrible, you know. And you can't lie to the dentist because they look in your mouth, which is where the lies came from. No, that's not acceptable, isn't it? You know, and they're always like, oh, do you brush? And you're like, yes. And they're like, your teeth? And you're like, it's tricky. You have to. I'm trying to do that better. I'm trying to be better at that because it's difficult. I'm gonna be honest with you. I've given up some stuff. I'm trying not to smoke anymore. Have we got any smokers in? Wow, that's the sound of cancer. I guess yeah. That was. Oh my goodness. I also love that someone coughed exactly as I asked the question. That was as if to preempt it. I don't smoke anymore, but the reason is like I started for an embarrassing reason, you know? I started because I was awkward in conversations, and it's nice to have a prop, you know? It's just nice, just something, just, you know, just something to hold on to, you know, which is not a good reason, because it's essentially your brain being like, oh, this conversation's not going very well. Kill yourself. Do it slowly and in a French way. So I've tried to stop doing it, but what I won't do is I won't vape. I've decided I'm not going to do that because is there any vapists in? Have we got any vapists? No, there was one. Who was that over there? Who made the woo? Very quiet now, aren't we? Yes. That's okay. Watermelon isn't a personality, but that's all right. I just find vaping. It looks lame, doesn't it? It just looks like you're playing a little flute. That's the, you know, and it lights up at the end because you're downloading an identity. And then when you open your mouth and just like a battlefield's worth of mist comes out, and it smells of Willy Wonka's farts, and it's just horrible. How is this wind sweet? Oh, gross. You know, so I won't do that. That's it. That's the vice I've given up. I'm also trying to. This is a problem over lockdown particularly. Is my main vice is let's put it like this. I was expanding the brand, by which I mean putting on weight. I really acquired some assets over the pandemic. A large merger with Burger King. I couldn't. Oh, it's just dreadful now. I'm a fucking goujon of a man now. I am a chicken nugget in a shirt. Like it just. Do you know what I mean? All of my clothes feel like I'm walking to a heavy wind all of the time. Do you know what I mean? Some of you know, and some of you don't. And I know. Look, some of you eat Ryvita all the time, and that's fine. I understand. You're different people to me, okay? And I know you're looking at me being like, it's not that bad, Ben. You're quite slim. You didn't know me, okay? Before the pandemic, I looked like that. I was a pencil, and now I'm a highlighter. Do you know what I mean? It's changed, you know? My problem is, I just have a very weird relationship with food. I love it so much, you know? Like, my relationship with food, if I can explain it to you like this, it's like, you know, sometimes you go to a party, and there's like someone you really like at the party, and you finally realize they like you, and there's a bit of eye contact, and there's a bit of like, oh my God, it's happening, oh my gosh, they're both drunk enough, and you start having a nice conversation, and suddenly it becomes very clear that, tonight's the fucking night, it's happening, it's on, and then you're leaving together, and you're like, oh, do you want to come to my place? And they're like, oh, sure, yeah. And then you're going along, and you get to the front of your door, and then one of you puts the key in the lock, and the other one's like, hey. And then you have like just a little kiss, and just peck on the cheek. But then someone bites the other one's lip, and oh fuck, it's happening. Oh my goodness, and it gets and they're like pushing through the door, and then you sort of stumble through the whole corridor, and like and one of you's like trying to take their shoes off, but you're still trying to kiss at the same time. You get in the kitchen, and one of you lifts them on and up onto the kitchen surface, and you're just like macking out now, just like pulling your clothes off, just like throwing them anywhere, and it doesn't matter where they land. That is how I unwrap a block of cheese. No, I'll accept it. I'll accept the applause. Thank you for trying. Yeah. Both of us naked in the kitchen, just. Oh, that was amazing. 5 people were like, yeah, okay, and then I made you do it. The rest of you, I made you. I'll get validation if I have to squeeze it out of you. Anyway, yes, no, I do. I mean, I just love food. I love it too much. Speaking of sex, let's do it. I've been okay. This is going to sound like a weird segue. I've been spending a lot of time with my parents recently. No, you did that joke in yourselves, okay? That was not, that was nothing to do with me. Basically, I've been hanging out a lot with my folks, and our thing we like to do together is watch TV, and we just watch TV a lot. That's like our thing. We like binge watch a whole, series of something. What I realize is that like most like modern TV now has at least one very graphic sex scene in it. Like every single one. So basically now every week I sit down with my folks and we just watch sex together. And it's weird. In a way, it's kind of appropriate because, in a way, sex is how we know each other. Do you know what I mean? Like they took a ride on the roller coaster and I was the souvenir they picked up on the way, But I used to feel quite awkward about it. I don't think I feel awkward about it anymore. And I think the reason is because like sex on TV is not really like sex in real life, is it? Because when you see like sex on TV, there's like a montage, and there's like it's all like tinkling music, and there's someone going oh, and then there's like a hand on a piece of fabric, just like oh, and a neck, and that is not what sex is like. No one ever got fingered on TV, do they? No one's ever pulled their face. That's never happened, has it? Do you know what I mean? And always the sound is always like, oh, tinkly piano, and they go, that is not the sound of sex, is it? You know what I mean by the sound of sex? The slap. Two wet pelvises lashing together, like a walrus applauding. Two pieces of smoked salmon having a fight. You know what I'm talking about. And then sometimes like a little bit of air bubble catches, and it comes out and it sounds like a fart. Ah! But you can't throw, no, because sex is very serious. You couldn't possibly say it's a fart. That bit was a gamble, but I did it anyway. Yeah, okay. Oh, no. Okay. Just to be clear, I'm not going to ask for an applause after every bit. That's not that's not wonderful. All right, I'll tell you one more story, fellas, and then I'll get out of here. Oh, thank you. All right, no, a bit delayed, but I'll take it. That's okay. That's all right. Okay. This story, I'm not sure how applicable it is. Well, let's do it. I once got high at work. Now, are there any does anyone here take drugs? Lock the doors. We've got them. Okay. Imagine if I was the sting operation. How fucking fucked up would that be? No. And that's great. What genre of stuff are we taking, people? Again, very quiet. They never want to say, do they? It's okay. It's probably assume a melange that means that you're too embarrassed to speak out loud. I'm going to assume. I don't really take drugs. When I was no, honestly, officer, I don't. And basically when I was about 21, I was a late bloomer. Someone offered me a little bit of and I took the lighter and I went, oh, shall I be mother? So that sort of tells you everything you need to know by my general mood, and that's really it. It's mostly just that, also cocaine, but we don't need to dwell on that. I was just very, I was having a very bad breakup at one point, and I thought, oh, maybe this will help. It made me sad faster. That's how that works. So it's mostly just that. And then, but recently, about a year ago, I was helping a friend move out of their flat, and they were like, oh, Ben, thank you so much for doing this. Would you like a bit of money? I was like, man, you don't have to. This was a favor. I don't need money. He was like, okay, well, would you like some weed chocolate? And as I say, I don't really do drugs, but I eat all chocolate. And it turns out they're growing some interesting stuff on Quality Street. So I had a little bite of this stuff, and my friend packed me off on the train to go home, and halfway through the train journey, I lost my mind. Just my toes were curling in on themselves. I was laughing to myself, which is quite the vibe on the District Line, and I got into the middle of London, which is where I live, and it was only when I got there that I realized the reason I was going into the center of town was because I was going to work. And sometimes when I don't do this, I'm a singer, and I sing at Westminster Cathedral, which is the mother church of Catholicism in the UK. I'm basically like the priest's hype man. The priest will be like, Jesus is great, and I'll be like, yes, he is. Like, that's the sort of like vibe. That's how we do. And so I was there, and I realized I was like the highest I've ever been in my entire life. So I was like, I've got to sort this out. So I went to 3 separate cafes and restaurants, and I had a BLT in each one. Why 3 separate ones? Because I was worried the waiters would be suspicious. And just normal behavior. And but it's not like alcohol. You can't get sober from it. So I was just on the cusp of vomiting and farting, and went into Westminster Cathedral. If you've never seen it, a beautiful cathedral. Oh my God, it's like a kaleidoscope had sex with a Viennetta. It's like, oh, it's like beautiful, like parquet flooring, gorgeous marble gold. Oh, if you're high, it's the best day of your life. But I was on the clock. So I dribbled and stared at the altar for a bit, and then I went backstage, which is not what it's called, but imagine. And I went there, and I got my dress on, I got all my like little stuff on, and there were just priests everywhere, just priests all over the place. And as I say, I mean, I'm not really a religious person. I don't really believe in the power of a priest, but you know, it's a bit like a community support officer. You know, they don't have any power, but they're wearing a costume. Do you know what I mean? So I was quite anxious, you know, and I don't know if you've ever been paranoid when you're high. It's so much worse when you can look up and see the actual face of God. Like, that is, oh my God, because, you know, he's there, and he's in the mosaics and photos and stuff. Well, not photos. That would be incredible. He must be real. Wow. You know, just like the pictures and stuff, and he's never chilled out in those photos, is he? He's always, you know, he's never like, or he's like smiting or aloof. Those are his modes, and Jesus is worse. Jesus, oh my God, he's on the cusp of a panic attack all the time. He's, you know, he's up there, he's had too many espressos. It's like, he's always pointing, and what's he pointing to? More Jesuses. They're just cheese eye on every surface. I was like, freaking out, and I'm trying to hold it together. I'm trying to read the music. I don't know if you tried to read when you're high. Incredibly difficult. Oh, it's like trying to eat soup with a badminton racket. Like, nothing goes in, you know? You're looking at words you've used your entire life, and you don't recognize them anymore. You're like, the. This book has a lisp. Like, it's horrible. So I'm sweating, and I'm, you know, the altar boys are making incense. I'm making my own, and we get through it all. We get through the service. I'm sweating. I go backstage, and I get my stuff off, and I'm like, maybe I've got away with this. And just as I'm about to leave, a bishop just comes around the corner. Now, I don't know if you guys know the hierarchy of a church, but a bishop is like, it's below the king, but above castle. So, one for the dads, shiny Charizard for the young ones, and just like one of the big boys, and he came round that corner, and he like made eye contact with me, and he started coming towards me, and he looked at me, and he started talking, and I realized that my eyes must be the size of planets. So I was like, well, if I just blink enough times, then it would be unseemly to show the bishop such buxom iris. Oh no, not in the bishop's company. Oh, and then I realized he had stopped talking, and I rewound back through what he said, and I'm pretty sure what he said was, "Do you believe in God?" And obviously in that moment, I was having a divine experience. But that was because of the chocolate, right? But then if God was real, he made the chocolate. So I don't know what's the infinite loop of that. Like, I don't know what existence is. I don't know what consciousness is. I don't know if there's an afterlife. You know, this can't be it. It can't just be, you know, birth, nectar points, death. That's not enough. Like, I don't know what goes on. I have no idea. But I didn't communicate any of that. I just said, okay. So he said, "Oh, do you believe in God?" And I went, "Okay." And he said, "Okay." And then I said, "And also with you." And then he walked away in that way that bishops do, diagonally. Well, look, guys, my name's Ben Pope. I'll see you again. Thank you very much.
In this very, very room in September, so please do come back and see him. In the meantime, it's your first interval, so we're going to have a wee, have a smoke, have a drink, all that business. We get in about 10-15 minutes. Another massive round of applause for Ben!